Well, hello YouTube and a warm welcome to the Essentially Crypto channel. My name is Ian and as always, I'm your host. Now today we have got a video for the Monster Wranglers in the houses. We are going to talk about Monster Infinite because yesterday they did a marketplace again. They tried it the other week. They tried it. It was a bit of a disaster. Nobody could get on. Nobody could do anything. This time it was a little bit better. I'll be honest. Basically, to be honest, it's a good thing. It really is a good thing anyway. If you're invested in Monster and if you're invested in the game itself, because it was crazy. Like literally they opened the market and like hardly anything could happen. The idea is that you swap your Moni for STT, and then once you've swapped it, you can then buy your monsters. And the idea is to try and do that as quick as possible because otherwise all the monsters go. Now, the thing is that because you're swapping for STT, what happens obviously is the price rises massively. When the price rises, it means that when you're swapping your Moni, you're not getting as much STT for your Moni. And it started off at 588, I believe, per Moni. And it very rapidly went down. And the idea is that as the monsters are bought, then switch the liquidity so that therefore the monsters are bought with that STT and then it's put back into the liquidity so that way the price then goes back up again and you're getting more for your money. However, that kind of works, but only if people are buying the monsters and the STT, and then there's enough time to blah blah blah. So basically, the issue is that when you're trying to swap your STT, your Moni for STT, if you've got a really rubbish rate, you just have to wait. But the thing is that if you wait, then you lose you get the risk of not being able to get your monsters. So it was a bit of a stressful situation, shall I say. In fact, we started at, I think it was 2 o'clock my time. So whatever the time was, I can't remember, but it was 2 o'clock my time. And I finally got my monsters at 8 o'clock in the evening. And I was literally sitting in front of the computer for that entire time, refreshing things, waiting for them to load, going through the process, etc, etc, etc. And it was an absolute nightmare. And I think a lot of people gave up. But the good thing is that because it was so difficult and because it was the websites were going down and coming up and all that sort of. And in fact, actually, the websites weren't going down. It's just that there was so many requests. It's a bit like they likened it to when when you're trying to mint something on Ethereum and the gas prices are massively high. The reason they're massively high is because you're putting yourself in a leaderboard of when you pay and what you do. Now with Binance, what they did and everything they did on the Monster chain, they don't charge any gas fee. So if they were to charge gas, then obviously you could then put yourself forward and you could make sure that you got your things done quicker, etc, etc. But because they're doing it all gasless to make sure that everybody has a fairer chance, then it means you just have to wait basically for things to happen. So and the good thing is that so many people wanted to do it. It just shows the amount of people that are going to be interested in this game, the amount of people that were trying to buy monsters. Incidentally, they sold out completely yesterday. So therefore, it's all sold out now, except there was a bit of an issue with the UI apparently, and therefore there are still some zero, well, I'm not sure if it's 0 or 1 to 4, but chrono monsters available still, about 3,000 of them. So only 2,000 of them sold, so about 3,000 of them are still available, and they're going to put them up for sale later on today as well. So if you didn't get a chance to get in there, then get in. But I guarantee you those things are going to go pretty quick, because I tried to get 0 ones and I couldn't get them, but they might be 1 to 4 either way. But anyway, so the point is this. The way it works is that you do all that process, you've got your wallet, and you have to try and get 3 monsters in order to be able to play the game, so you need to get 3 of them. So, and what you do, you process, you swap your STT first of all, you have to wait for a good number. I looked at mine, I put in 200, it came out at 86,000, I think. I was like, oh, that's not that much. So therefore, I put it in again, and then it dropped down to like 84,000, and I was like, oh, it's dropping, and then it dropped down to 82, and I thought, well, I'll just leave it to wait. And then when I came back, I looked, and it was at 82. But what I did is I accidentally hit max on the thing. So I actually filled up my thing. I had 300 Moni in there. I filled it up to 300 Moni, and I didn't realise I did it. So when I looked back, I saw it was at 140, I think it was 140,000, something along those lines of STTT, and I thought, oh my goodness, they've replenished it. I better hit it now before it goes. So I hit it, and what I'd actually done is I bought it at 82,000 for 200, but I'd put in 300 by mistake. So I actually bought it at a really, really crappy rate. But what I after discovered is I'm actually quite glad I did that, because I was able to get on and get my monsters. And if I'd have waited, the rate kept dropping anyway. And when they replenished, if you were lucky, you got in, but if not, then it carried on dropping. And in the end, I still managed to get my 3 monsters, which I was really pleased with. As I said, it took a while. You had to approve the contract, wait for the contract to approve. Then you had to then go back and you had to click on the bid now. Then some of them wouldn't bid. Some of the auctions said they'd been sold already. Then you had to go, and it was a long process. But in the end, I'm pleased to say that I managed to get myself these 3 Chrono 0 1 to 4, which basically means that now I've got 3 monsters, so I can start breeding if I wanted to. And obviously, depending on how much Moni you bought and what price you bought Moni at, then you would get them at the price that you got them at, essentially. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, a lot of people out there are probably thinking, well, what's the point of these? What do I do with 3 monsters? Well, first off, you can play the game. So, you can play the game and you can play with 3 monsters. It's just like Axie. But also, you can breed as well. And that's the reason I got 1 to 4s. I tried to get 0 to 4s, but I didn't manage it. I believe they were all sold out, or at least the interface wasn't working properly, so I couldn't get them. So, instead, I went for the 1 to 4s, managed to get them, so I'm happy with that. Some people didn't even manage to get them and went for the Soulbund ones. They all sold out completely. I think there was 20,000 of them from what I can gather. They all sold out as well. They were slightly cheaper, and the reason they were slightly cheaper, if you didn't watch the video from the other day, and that is because that you can clone them. You could clone them up to twice, but you could not sell them or transfer them on. Whereas the Chrono 0 ones, you can sell them at the end and transfer them on, and I'll explain why that makes a difference in just a second's time when we go through that. So I got my 3 and I'm all ready to breed. So you might be thinking, like, so how do I breed these and what's the point of them? Well, firstly, we don't know 100% what's happening, and the reason we don't know is because, like, if you've been breeding Axies before, which I have, so I know a little bit more about it now, they may not follow the same idea, but I'm pretty sure they're going to, and that is that Axie has many different types. So you've got like plants, you've got aquas, you've got beasts, you've got birds. So that's just a few of them. There's more of them as well. But basically what you do is, if you decide to do a breeding farm or you want to breed, what you normally do is you get plants, you get 3 plants, and then you start your breeding farm and you breed plant to plant, plant to plant. However, with these monsters, because we're buying eggs, we don't actually know what we're going to get. So I've got a feeling that when the marketplace for these opens, people are going to be, you know, exchanging them between each other to try and get, like, for instance, I'm not sure what the categories of monsters are. I'm not sure if they've released them yet. But if they were, say, if, for instance, it was like Axie, and I had, because they're eggs, I don't know what I'm getting, I could get a plant, an aqua, and a plant. I could breed the 2 plants together, but I wouldn't want to breed the plant and the aqua together, really, because it wouldn't be a great thing to do, especially as they're pure breeds as it stands at the moment. So therefore, I'm guessing that if you've got a friend that you can swap with, maybe, if one of you wants to breed like the plants, the other one aquas, I don't know what they're going to be for monsters, so we'll find out all the information at a later date, I guess. But yeah, if you want to breed them together, that's what you'll do. So the first thing you need to do is you need to get 3 of the same style of monster. So therefore, that is your first task. You're going to have to go on the marketplace. You're either going to have to sell yours and then buy another one, or you're just going to have to swap around with friends to try and get some. Luckily, I've got a few friends who bought quite a few of them. I only bought 3 of them, but, you know, if I can swap one of them and then maybe buy one myself or whatever, then that's great. Or what I might just do is just go on the market and just buy, you know, say I've got, like, let's just say they're called plants and aquas. If I've got 2 plants and an aqua, I might go on the marketplace after it opens when people are selling their eggs once they've been hatched, which, because obviously you're not going to want all of them. Some people have bought loads of them. And, you know, I might just buy ones to go through and then make another team, essentially. And why would you make another team, or why would you make another breeding? Well, I'm going to explain to that in a second. But remember, they're probably going to have scholars as well. It's pretty much, if you know about Axie, then you will follow the same path. But I'm assuming you don't know much about Axie, so therefore that's why I'm going through this with the monster. And it may change, by the way. It may not be exactly the same. I'm just guessing that it's going to be this sort of way, because so far everything has pretty much fallen into place exactly the same as Axie has. So you've got your 3. Now, incidentally, a lot of people were saying, well, how can you get more than 3? How could you do it? Well, it was very simple. All you had to do was go into your monster wallet and create a sub account. Okay, so you create a sub account, and you do that by adding an account, and that would automatically give you a separate monster wallet. And then you would fund that with the amount of Moni you needed, about 300 for a team, and then you would do that again and again and again, and you would create many sub accounts. Now, there is one really bad thing about that, and that is that, and this happened to a few people. Now, I'm not sure if they figured out a way to fix it or not, but if you check out in the Telegram channel, maybe you can. I was lucky. I saw that somebody had done it and I didn't do it myself. They were constantly updating the wallet, and they have been, okay? Now, when I update my wallet, I do it a different way, and I'll explain to you in a second because I think it's really important. But when you update your wallet, if you have sub accounts, you have to make sure you save the special key with each sub account, because otherwise you will lose everything that's in your sub account. So make sure you do that. That's very important. Now that may be the same for MetaMask. I don't know. I've not tried it, but I do know when I ported over my MetaMask with the seed phrase to another tab, it came up with the account. But then I didn't have anything in that account, so I don't know if it's the same. But with Monsta, it definitely does not come up with that account, and you have to import it separately with that phrase, not with the key phrase, but with the number that you get. It's a very, very long number, so make sure you do that before deleting your wallet and then reinstalling it, because otherwise you will lose everything you've got in your sub accounts, and you don't want to do that, obviously. Now, a good way to do that, incidentally, is in Chrome. You can add yourself separate profiles. So if you add a profile to Chrome and you open it up, you've essentially got yourself a whole new browser. So you can install your Monsta wallet, your new Monsta wallet on there without uninstalling the old one, and then that gives you a chance to then port everything across fairly easily as well. And I've just found that for me has been a real lifesaver, because I've got 2 or 3 Chrome profiles. And in fact, I recommend you do this anyway, and that is create a Chrome profile or another browser that you do all your crypto stuff in. So then that way, if you have an instance where, like the other day, I wanted to mint something and the only way to do it was to clear all my cache and cookies and everything, and I did it in a hurry to try and get everything, I lost all my passwords, all my saved everything on that particular browser. So now I have a specific browser just for crypto stuff, so that if I was to go somewhere, you know, and I can do something. And incidentally, if you're minting stuff and you want to add another account into your MetaMask and only use that as like a burn account, so that if you go to somewhere and you get scammed with something, at least you can just get rid of that account and you've still got your main MetaMask. So that's just a few little tips that I've been picking up along the way, and I think it will help for Monsta as well. But in this case, you had to make various accounts, okay? Now, once you made that, you could then fund it with an account and you could buy your X. So I bought my X, basically. So let's move on now to find out what it is you have to do in order to breed them. So I made this little diagram for you. Hopefully I'm not in the way here. No, I don't think I'm in the way, so I should be okay. So basically what's happened now is you've got 3 Monsta X, okay? Or maybe you got 2. I don't know how many you managed to purchase. In order to do this breeding, you need at least 3. And really 4 is optimal, but we'll get to that in a second of how you can also do that, because obviously you're only allowed 3 on your wallet, so therefore how could you do more than 3? So let's show you breeding with 3. So first off, your first task obviously is to get 3 the same. You need 3 the same, or maybe you don't quote me on that one, but that's what you need for Axie, okay? So then you've got your red and your yellow, okay? What you do is you breed the 2 together. You would pay your STT fee or whatever it is. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I don't think they've released that information. And then you would get your 3 monsters. In my case, I can only get 3 because I got the 1 to 4 breed, which means that basically they lose 1, so therefore it will be 3. Okay, so I bred my 3 babies. Now, because I've got Chrono 0 monsters, it then means that I can sell straight away the parents. You see, so that's the advantage of having the Chrono 0 ones versus the Soulbond ones. The Soulbond ones, you will not be able to sell those parents. So you will get your 2 monsters because you can only breed them twice, but you will not be able to sell the parents on. So, but then that won't matter for a few of you, because essentially you will want to use them in the game. So if you're still wanting to play the game, then Soulbond was a great option because you get 2 breeds, but you can't make as much money as Soulbond. But don't worry, because when you breed the babies, they are not Soulbond. So Soulbond was the only, I'm not sure if it's Soulbound or Soulbond. They say Soulbound some places, Soulbond in others. But you can only, once you breed it once, them Soulbonds you have to keep. Okay, but the babies you can then breed again, and you'll be able to sell those and sell those babies and those babies and those babies. So it's still a great way to get into the breeding if you wanted to with the Soulbond monsters. But anyway, I digress. So you've got the 2 up the top there. You can sell those straight away because they're Chrono 0s. Okay, and then you've got your 3 babies, and then you basically see which babies you like and which ones you don't. You then take your other monster that you've got, remember they've all got to be the same, you would take that and you would choose one of those 3 to breed it with. So in this case, I would breed it with the N1 just to make it easy. Now, once you've decided which one you're going to breed it with, you can actually sell one of the other ones. So you then sell that one. Now, basically, with the money from the 2 parents and that one sold, you have now got enough money to buy your STT or whatever it is you need again to breed. And they haven't released those details yet. I'm sure it's coming soon. But keep an eye out for the channel and I'll let you know when. Once you've done that, you can then breed those 2 together, so the orange and the blue, which gives you 3 purple ones, okay? And then, once again, you then sell those 2 parents. So therefore, you're back to the same situation again. Now you've sold those parents, you've got some money back off of it. Now, incidentally, you can do this with soul bonds as well by that stage because of the fact it's only the first ones you cannot sell. Okay, so just remember that. But bear in mind, you're also going to be playing with only 2 soul bonds. So therefore, it means you won't be able to sell the extra baby. Okay, so let me just highlight that one. This baby over here, if you're only playing with 2, you're basically going to mate them together. You're going to end up with 2, and then you're going to have to do this process, but you're going to have to keep that one. You cannot sell it, okay? That's important to remember if you've got soul bond. But for now, we're saying you haven't got soul bond. So therefore, let me move out of the way just a little bit. So therefore, you've got these 3 now, okay? So then you've sold these 2 parents, and you've sold this one. You've used the money to be able to breed these, and you've now sold the 2 parents. So you do exactly the same process again if you want to. Now, at this stage, if you want to, you don't have to do it this way. You can then move into 4 breeding or into ABCD breeding. But this is ABC just to show you with the 3 monsters, okay? So then what you do is you then choose to sell one. Now, at this point, you can choose not to sell it if you want, and that's how you'd go into ABC. But if you want to, if you're short of money and you want to be able to breed the next lot and you can't put the money in yourself, or you haven't amassed enough money by selling the parents, then you can then sell that one as well. And then what you would do is you go back on yourself to the orange one. So you see this one here goes back on itself to the orange one. Right? Now, incidentally, if you want to do the ABCD breeding, you just don't sell this one. Okay? So that's all you do. But in this case, you go back on yourself to the orange one, and then you are ready once again to breed 3 times. Okay? And then you would do exactly the same thing again. You would breed one of them. You would go back on yourself to this one. Now, if you wanted to do the ABCD breeding, all you would do, instead of just going back on yourself to one, you would go back on yourself to this one as well. Okay. So what you would do is you would sell this parent here. I'm not sure. Yeah. You would sell that parent there. Okay. But you wouldn't sell this one before. So then when these ones were bred, you could then do an arrow to there and an arrow to there, and that would then give you ABCD breeding, and then you can start the process of ABCD breeding, which means that when you breed the 3 or the 4 that time, you can then go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and happy days. You can keep on breeding to your heart's content as long as you've got the money to keep putting it in. But basically, from the start, you need to start off with the 3 because you've only got 3 monsters on your wallet. So therefore, that was the most you were able to buy. The other option you can do to make all this even easier, and that is that when the market opens, you can just simply go in and buy another one of them, and then you can start ABCD breeding straight away. And that means that all you have to do is breed the 2 together either side, and then they create 4 babies, and then each baby you would then breed in amongst themselves like this, kind of like a little thing to get more, and then you can breed sort of up and down, back and forth as much as you like, because the main thing is that you can't breed the parents with the children. So that's basically the only thing. So you can breed the parents together. You breed the two together to get parents, and then the children, you cannot then breed a parent with a child because that's classed as incest and they won't allow that. So therefore, you have to essentially let the uncle breed with the children, which is still a little bit weird, I'll be honest, but it works in this game, and that's all you care about, and that's how you make money. So there you go. So that's how you will make money with your monsters. If you wanted to breed them as well, if you wanted to create, scholarship programs, that kind of thing. So therefore, I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what you can do. But there you go. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to take any of this as financial or investment advice in any way, shape or form. This was a video for all the monster wranglers out there. So because, Moni can go up, it can go down, it can make you loads and loads of money, but that is essentially crypto. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you on the next monster video. Bye-bye for now.